All right, this is today's update for the space thing. First thing you notice is that it showed a loading screen. It was a very brief loading screen, but as I add more features to the game, I'm sure it's gonna take longer to load. Right now, it takes about 2 seconds to load, and you can also see that in the logs because I've added a logging feature as well. And you also may have noticed very briefly like a graph just show up, and that's because I've added plotting features too. You can have custom plots. Let's see if I can pull up this plot that I have here. All right, so this will have to work for now. This is just a plot of the masses of the stars versus their wait, was it mass versus temperature? I think this was mass versus temperature. So yeah, it doesn't have axes in the image, but it does output the axes to like a text file. So if you need those, it has those. What else to mention? So oh yeah, this can graph just the stars or just the planets or the planets and the stars or the planets and the stars and the moon, blah blah blah. Um, you can plot just about anything. I have a few preset functions for like if you want to plot simple things like the mass or the radius, but you could just add your own function and plot whatever you want if you want something crazy. Just put in the lambda. All right, and now we're back to the actual game. If we switch the map mode to the star class map mode, you'll notice a few different types and some of these Y class brown dwarfs. They have this kind of purplish, grayish, kind of like a dark lavender color. And we have these like dark red ones, and then this kind of orange. Well, actually, no, that's not it. Ah, here's one. It's a little bit rare, but there's some like orange-ish dark ones that are like different. They're like different classes basically. But most of these planets are pretty cold. They have low orbital periods, orbit very closely to the parent body. Uh, so they're not very prone to habitable life. Let's see. Nah. Let's see if we can find a habitable planet orbiting a brown dwarf. I don't think we'll be able to. I don't think it's possible for one to generate. And the one other thing I added is better density computation for like the planets and stuff. So beforehand, the densities were kind of, well, they were okay, but they weren't very indicative of all the different kinds of densities, and some of the densities weren't quite realistic. So now you have realistic densities for like objects. Like actually, this is pretty close to an analog of Mercury, I think. I think this is pretty close to the mass of Mercury and the density of Mercury. Let's get another body. Oh, that's the same body. So this is close to the Earth's mass. It's slightly larger and slightly denser. All right, that's realistic enough. This one's very small and not at all dense. Realistic. Slightly larger and slightly more dense than the Earth. Makes sense. Slightly smaller, but slightly denser than the Earth. That's reasonable as well. Yeah, you can get a realistic amount of variation now. It's not as static as it was before. Oh, I added a kind of a fun map mode. It's like the blank map mode, except it's colored, so like it's a bit easier to tell the stars apart. Like if you don't actually care about any information, but you want something to distinguish the stars, I added this map mode. And that's about it.